Welcome.
Welcome back to Opinion Outlaws, where the only thing you can say is you cannot say that. Yeah.
He did it.
Thank you.
He
Good.
did. So
Yeah.
today topics
Yes.
are first of all,
Welcome.
first of all, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing it has gone a little over the wild for everybody because everything is happening in all around. But this time, me and Puru, we want to just put some water in the fire on the fire and just slow things down. Let's talk about things that maybe people need to talk about more than all these other topics that that news and media and all that you are pushed through your throat. They are just pushing it through your throat like, no, this is it. Like, calm down. Let's calm down. Let's see what's going on here.
Yes.
So the last time we sent, and I'm gonna be honest. What do you think that we should do like a season, and the last episode we take questions?
Yes.
What do you think about this?
I think that sounds pretty good. For now, what we have been doing for now has been that we have just chosen a topic at random or less on random,
Yeah,
and then we have just run our mouths about it and reflected about it. But now it would be interesting to hear what you guys think about. What questions do you have? What are the things you've been wondering about? And giving your questions so we can reflect upon those things. Maybe they will benefit you, or maybe not. But at least you will be entertained.
yeah. And to do it like, okay, this season we talked about this stuff. Next season we talk about this stuff, and the last episode of that season we would just answer questions from the viewers that we have. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But
good idea.
we got a few questions, and some of the questions we will not answer because not only we don't care, but most importantly, it's not our business.
Yeah.
It's not relevant for our podcast. It will not help me, Puru, or anyone who would listen to that question and then get the answer from us. But there was one question, and I sent it to Puru also, and Puru even said that, man, this is a good one.
Oof.
It's a juicy one. Juicy. And the question: do you want to tell, or would
do you have it already, like in your mind?
Yeah, I can. Like, I know exactly.
You have it in your mind once you take your new phone.
No, I actually have it in mind
Okay,
because I have talked with this person quite a while.
Yeah.
And then we have always like wondered where does it come from.
Yeah.
And I have shared my thoughts on that with him, but he also wanted to question this, and because it is an interesting point. And the question is, why people believe in something so much, like with their full heart, with their full passion, with every soul that they have, they believe in that so much. But when you ask them, why do you believe it? They don't know how to answer. And I'm not talking about like religious people. Like if you believe God, then well, that's pretty easy argument. But what I'm talking about, like, I believe that you should do this. Why? But like, and that's maybe the reason why we got this question. And I want to ask now, Puri, what do you think about this? So why people believe in something so much, but then when you ask or you question, I would say better, that belief, they cannot defend it. They don't know how to argue it. They don't have any capacity why they believe in that.
So, like I said, it's really a juicy question in many ways for so many reasons. But let's start from a basic principle. As people, we have a very primal instinct to willing to survive.
True.
Right.
That's true.
We have this. Let's imagine there is this linear, like how would you say, like spectrum.
Yeah.
Where this is the side where there is ultimate pain, there is ultimate pleasure on this side. people are
You know what
inclined.
I'm
Okay,
saying?
anyways, we as people we are very inclined to go towards as much as pleasure as we can and away from pain.
Facts.
And that thus we are more prone to lean towards notions or beliefs that are going to serve our survival, or they're going to bring us some benefits that are going to help us achieve our goals.
Gotcha.
So I think that's the like pre-assumptions we should have as first thing before we get any deeper into this,
Fact.
because it makes sense when you said someone is declaring very strongly, okay, this is the right thing. I think this is exactly the right way to do it. There's no other way.
Yeah.
Because when you tell something like that, you feel very confident when you have the tone of voice and you say, "Oh, this is absolutely the only thing." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So therefore, it kind of brings you that inner security. Okay, because I give myself so confidently, I express myself so confidently about this. It must mean it is right.
Mm.
And there's actually a term name for that phenomenon, which is called conviction bias.
Okay.
Conviction bias, basically a sentence that this whatever I believe must be true because I feel so strongly about it.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, and it's basically like it's like basically it goes with the notion. Okay, because I so strongly believe in this, it absolutely must mean that it is true. But
I'm gonna give you an example.
yeah,
We can take this example. I'm sorry to interrupt.
no worries.
We take in this thing example the wage gap. Wage gap, which means that men get paid more than women,
Mm.
is debunked in many different ways. It's not true, but people still believe in. Some people still truly believe that it's true. Go.
Sorry.
So what I'm saying that this kind of belief
Mm,
that someone believes
mm,
even to this day that men get paid more
mm,
than women
mm,
for the exact same job.
mm. Oh yeah, that's one thing. Like there's a lot of history around it, but a lot of like I guess assumption that it must be because there is some discrimination between the
Yeah.
genders, and that's why it's very uh, very challenging topic for some people because they're gonna flip out immediately when they hear something like that. Oh, men's dollar is a woman's
Mm,
$0.73. That kind of
yeah.
we're discriminating us women, blah blah blah, blah that kind of thing. But I think like where this phenomenon really comes from, it comes from some certainty. You're
Mm,
not willing to look into yourself and really think, okay, maybe I don't know this,
mm,
because that is gonna put you in the zone of unknown.
yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
people don't like that because usually what is unknown is unpredictable. What is unpredictable can lead to anything. What we are ultimately afraid of is our death, right?
Yeah.
So there's a reason why we are afraid of unknown, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we are very hesitant to go there.
So
I think that's the
the
main
argument
first.
that you have why people do it is because if they try to believe something else, they are going to in unknown.
Yeah, and the unknown creates uncertainty.
And unknown creates uncertainty, and that
Mm.
uncertainty can lead either to very good or very bad.
Yeah, or some people are afraid what comes out from
Yeah.
there, and they don't know what comes out. That's what they're afraid of. What is coming out, they don't know because
Yeah.
they don't know themselves that well.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
so like, oh my God, if I would take a chance and go here in unknown territory for me, what is gonna come out?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why I think they're gonna just overcompensating on that. Like, this is exactly the right thing I need to do. Like, you need to buy this thing, or else we'll die. Okay, no, no, no. Or
Yeah.
this
Some
is
are.
this is like basically they are creating this. For example, salespeople are using this to an
Yeah.
extent. They're saying,
Salespeople
"Oh,
do it a lot.
you must buy this thing right now, or you will lose your chance until the next month. The next opportunity comes along." But now, Ideal has amazing story to tell for us. See what I did there. So, what is your
Oh,
story?
segue. I have plenty of stories, but maybe the best one is when I was talking with female friends, I would say like that. A female friend, and she was convinced that if all men learn how to treat a woman right and wouldn't rape and wouldn't do stupid, nasty things to women and wouldn't harass them and wouldn't do, the place would be a much better place.
Mm,
And I looked at her, and at first I was thinking that, well, maybe I shouldn't go there because I don't have the nerve or the time or the energy to deal with this woman. But we were in a group setting, and she was making just a fool out of herself. So we sat her down, and I started to explain to her, like, just asking questions, like, why are you saying that? Well, the raping happened. Yeah, raping happens every day, and I feel not only sorry but disgusted in a way how some men cannot control themselves, that they don't take another woman against her will,
mm,
because sex happens when two people want each other and both are okay with that.
mm.
If one of them, it doesn't matter, man, woman, if one of you want each other but you're not okay with it and you're not okay to sleep together, whatever the case may be, then don't. It's okay. It's actually a good thing if they tell you straightforward or in the beginning, I'm not really sure. Fine. The, I'm gonna give you guys a pro tip, advice for life. If you are with a woman and the night goes well, or the date, or the conversation, or whatever the case may be that
Mm.
you have with that woman, and then she refuses to put out, as they say, to sleep with you,
Yeah.
the best thing that you can do is accept it and let it go.
Mm. There's an abundance of women really in the end.
Not just abundance. I'm not talking about just abundance, but I'm talking about the dignity that you have as a man,
Of
that you
course.
understand that she's not comfortable with that idea.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
doesn't, she's not okay with that idea that she is sleeping with you.
yeah,
So she is refusing that idea. The best thing that you can do is leave her be. You mind your day.
yeah,
Because what happens if you try to push it? Well, she's definitely then don't want to sleep with you.
yeah. Of course, of course. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, when there is abundance of women, that comes from self-respect, right?
Yeah.
You think so highly of yourself that you think, okay, it doesn't matter. This girl doesn't like me. I don't care. I have some other women I can call to, not just because you want to prove your worth because you're doing
Yeah.
that, but just because you know you can't do that and
Yeah.
you know it's gonna serve you ultimately.
Yeah. But do you know, even most of the time, it's not about even the man that you are. Most of the time, it's not about. What about if she is on her period?
Yeah.
She don't want to have sex with you. Maybe she wants you, like she's very attracted to you and she
Yes.
wants you, but she don't want the first time, especially the first time, to have sex and it's a mess. Like
Yeah, like I don't think even if I want to have like
exactly,
sex.
like you're being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
She's and usually women don't want to be that straightforward. They would say,
Yeah.
"I'm on my period. I don't want
Yeah.
to have sex."
Yeah.
So she would say that, right now it doesn't feel right.
Yes.
So therefore, even then, if you try to push it,
Yeah.
she won't have sex with you. That's she has already decided that. Leave it be. But
Yes. And like just to put ourselves in the perspective of that individual who is
yeah,
receiving that pushing. Like imagine you get a phone call. The answer, hello, and there is the telemarketing person, like salesman, selling you something on the phone. This is hello, hello there. How you doing? Yeah, great, great. Now we have this really great product for you. Blah 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 blah. Thank you, no, thank you. But this is really great product. I think you need it. No, thank you. Oh, but this is really great. Oh, fuck off. That is exactly what you are doing to women.
exactly. You have everybody has experienced that.
Yes,
Somebody calls you, tries to sell you, and then try to push it.
yes,
It's the same thing for her.
yes. You're
But
not. Don't let the problem come. You don't listen.
yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. This can happen even to men. That women try to push it, but the reason why it's not happening so often to men is because men are today so weak and stupid and retarded and idiots and not in a good shape. Fat
Simps.
seems any say anyway. But it happens. It has happened to Puru. It has happened to me that she has tried to push it, and I have said that no, this time it doesn't feel right. But uh, uh explaining to her that, yeah, it's bad that people rape, but isn't that unrealistic to believe that all men should do it? Yeah, if we were living the- in a ideal world where everything is fine, everything's okay,
Mm.
then yeah, for sure, we could think that.
Mm.
But we are not living in an ideal world.
No.
There are a lot of sick people here. And I'm not talking about hospitals. I'm talking about people who walk,
Mm.
people who go to work normally.
Mm.
You can see it.
Mm.
You can see that. I have worked myself in a big ass supermarket. I would say it like this.
Big ass supermarket. You
Yeah, the
say?
supermarket that we have over here.
Yes.
And that market is like a center for this region that we are living for 220K people.
Mm. That money.
200, 120, my bad.
Yeah.
120,000
Yeah.
people are living in this area.
Yes.
And for those people, the center of buying things is that market that I was working.
Yeah.
And I could say, with the heart on my hand, it's not on my hand, but let's
Mm.
imagine,
Mm.
with the heart on my hand, I can say that there were so many sick people who just came there from the work, for example, or they came here to buy something, but they were sick emotionally, they were sick mentally, they were sick
Mm.
socially. They are not human beings
Mm.
that you would say to them that, hey, you shouldn't do this.
Mm.
It doesn't. They don't care. They don't actually care. So I said to her that, listen, isn't it better that you look at this as a more realistic thing?
Mm.
That if you if you take a self-defense class, for example, you learn how to wrestle, or you learn how to box, or you carry a gun or a pepper spray. Isn't that a better solution than to think uh, and to not go the places that you shouldn't go,
Mm.
and in the night when you shouldn't walk around?
Mm.
Like, isn't that more realistic? Isn't that
Mm.
more obvious? Like you just saying that no, every man should do that. Well,
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you cannot just push all the responsibility for men. We are already kind of, I'm not like this can come off as how defensive, but it is true after all. Like it's not only men's responsibility, it's all everyone's responsibility involved in the situation.
Of course.
So, but it can be really easy to overlook it because we are so conditioned to think men are always the ones to blame. Women are just the victims of our environment somehow.
Yeah.
So I think that's the narrative what she's living up to in a way.
Yeah, and she lived up to that moment, and then she tried to push it a little back. She didn't even know why she wanted to push it back, but
Hmm.
she pushed it. And then I said to her that if you were my girlfriend for some ungodly reason, she's my girlfriend now,
Yeah.
and it's 2 a.m. We are leaving from a cafeteria or from a hotel or whatever the place that we are leaving. It's 2 a.m. And I'm saying to her, I know these streets and I know my homeland streets. And I know exactly where you shouldn't put your foot after another. And I know exactly where you should walk. And we are walking. And I said to her that we are not taking this road. Listen, I am an ex-fighter. I have been fighting. Now today I just train sometimes. But I've done fighting. I'm not going there because I know it doesn't matter if you are a fighter, you
Mm.
can still get stabbed, you can still get murdered, you can still get jumped from behind, you can still get battered up. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're safe if you are 101, but how many times you are actually 101
Yeah.
in a street fight?
Yeah, it's a very different setting when, from what you're in the ring. You are gonna let's take a scenario. You're gonna go to a boxing ring.
Yeah,
The people most likely are there to have a good time in the end, even ultimately have a good time.
yeah,
But when you're on the street, someone comes with your knife. He's thinking a
yeah,
bit different kind of fun, and it's
yeah.
not gonna be fun for you.
No, it
It's
won't.
definitely gonna be fun.
No.
It's more of that kind of sadistic fun having for him.
Yeah,
Even if it's like I don't even know, can we talk about fun? But maybe he's psychopath. I don't know.
it's not even for him fun, but
But
he has that sickness that I talked about.
mm,
Something mentally or
mm,
socially or financially or physically. He
mm,
has something that is pushed him or her. It has pushed that person to a breaking point.
yeah,
That they are. You just have to pinch
yeah,
and they go
yeah,
nuts.
yeah,
And I told her that if we are walking on dark street. I'm saying to you, we will not go this road. And if you open your mouth and start argue with me, then we have a problem. Well, then we actually have a problem because
Mhm.
then why you are arguing with me? Because now is our safety.
Yeah, because it's taking away your attention about your environment.
Yeah, it's our safety at stakes.
Yeah.
I don't. If I said to her that if you were my girlfriend,
Mm.
but let's say if you are not my girlfriend, you're just a human being that I met, and we are walking the same path, and we are chatting, and I'll tell you, we will not go this road because this road is dangerous. Why she want to argue with me about that? No, 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 no. Men should have no. Men should not have because you don't know who is going to be here. You don't actually know.
Yeah, there's a lot of like sense of entitlement just because of she's a woman and a woman. We I really think like in many ways women definitely have they have more rights more than ever before.
Yeah,
They're more entitled because of that because they know okay, so
yeah,
we're not gonna be that much pushed around by men.
yeah.
So that has brought that kind of sense of entitlement. So just because you are living in a modern time, it doesn't take away that some people don't give a shit about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you another story. This
Yeah.
is actually a funny story,
Mm,
but it's an entitlement story.
mm,
But then afterwards, I gave this example to her that if we are together, I'll tell you, don't go this road in here. I don't know at the other streets, but I know this street, these streets, and in these streets, I know this one is good, this one is bad. Don't go there. If you still decide to go there, then we have a serious discussion about why the hell I was saying something. But why the hell do you don't want to listen when I tell you about your safety? I'm not talking about that you want to work
mm,
somewhere or you want to be somewhere. Go ahead. That's none of my business. Go do you actually.
mm,
It's a good thing that you
mm,
go to work and study and
mm,
work out and I 100% support that. But when I say to you that don't go that road because it's dangerous, it's dark. I don't go there and I'm pretty good by myself. I can handle myself pretty well.
mm.
And I don't go there. You don't don't you dare go there. And she starts if she starts arguing with me about that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well then go there.
Yeah, I would
Let's go.
like deep inside of me, I would like to say that just go. I don't give a shit. But then afterwards, as a man, you have that
Oh,
responsibility
yeah, of course, of
in it
course.
in there.
But and in the end, ultimately, even though you do your best, you
Yeah.
tell her all the things that can happen, she still is gonna go there. Is it really your problem in the end?
It,
It is in a way. I
yeah.
understand we men are there to protect women in the end.
Yeah.
But like after all, it's not your fault if she doesn't understand. Like she doesn't have that sense of self-protection, right?
Yeah.
If she doesn't understand, okay, if I go to the dark corridor there you know what is going to
Yeah.
happen there. This is a strange area, like strange time for me. I don't know what is culture, what is going to happen if I go to dark corridors.
Yeah.
You two do what you can do, but you know, and even if you would try to stop her physically, she
Mm.
would threaten with you with some rape attempt or something like that.
Yeah.
You would have done all you can. Would you still be like, oh, you cannot go there? Is it really like in the end and anymore your problem?
Uh, the problem with that is that in actual setting,
Mm.
no, it's not your problem
Yeah,
anymore
yeah,
because you have tried your best
yeah.
to prevent it. And if she for some ungodly known reason has the same mindset that she wants to go there, then I would maybe call her cops, call her daddy.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I would try my every best, like you said. I would try my very best to say to make her not to go there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like the thing is, like if she still somehow gets
Mm,
away, you're not able to stay like protect her.
mm,
I understand there is that kind of sense of guilt because you
yeah,
weren't able to do that, but in the end, it is not your fault.
yeah,
We're not.
yeah,
I'm not trying to say it is okay for to be women to be raped, but I'm saying like there's a limit where men have to like understand. Okay, fine.
yeah,
I've done my all I can in order to influence you, but you cannot control her in a way
yeah.
at the
That's
same
true.
time.
That's true. Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's yeah.
yeah. I've I have broken up with a woman because of this.
Mm,
When I say to her that, hey, this is the thing I like, this is the thing I don't like,
yeah.
and if you do this, I will not be your boyfriend anymore.
Yeah.
and she couldn't fathom that why I'm saying just that particular thing. And I said to her, I gave her a very good example, like the reason. I will not talk about the what happened,
Mm.
but I will talk about the. I gave her argument, and I gave the argument in a way where she would understand where I come from and how I view the world, and how most of the guys who are in that same predicament would view the world.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, she said, "No, you're controlling." I'm not controlling. Don't get me wrong. The controlling is that I will say to you that you will not go without me.
Mm. Yeah, controlling usually in these situations comes from fear of
Yeah,
losing.
yeah. But I said to her that if you are not willing to do this thing, then I will not be your boyfriend.
Mm.
Simple as that. I'm not trying to force you to do anything.
Mm.
But what I'm trying to say is that if you want to be my boyfriend, these are the things that you have to be. These are the things that you have to go by. And don't get me wrong, these are for me as well. So if I say to you that I want from my woman this, I cannot be that arrogant or naive to say, let's say I want from her that she would be with sports, great physically fit.
Mm.
But if I am fat,
That's a different thing. Yeah.
I cannot I cannot put that standard on her.
Yeah.
I cannot expect that from her.
Yeah.
But if I am now in good shape and she's not in a good shape, then I would say to her that, hey, this is my standard. I want a woman who is fit.
Mm. But
You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that's an example.
Yeah.
But that was not the thing that I was talking about
Mm.
to this woman. Uh, and then she tried to accuse me about controlling. I would say no, this is not controlling. Controlling is a different thing. Controlling is that you would still be my girlfriend, and I wouldn't let you do that.
Mm.
In a sense that you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, go ahead, do it. You're just not my girlfriend at that point.
Yeah.
We can still be in a good terms. Like you don't get me wrong. We can still be in a good terms. We
Mm.
can still spend time in that sense.
Mm.
We are not like enemies.
Yeah. Of course.
God forbid. But what I'm talking about, we will not be intimate, intimately close
Yeah,
together.
you're giving her option to choose. So
Yeah,
how can it be that you're controlling her?
exactly.
She's controlling her, but chooses to take it as a situation where you are like trying to control her, even
Yeah,
though she's in the ultimately the only person who can control himself.
yeah,
But it seems that she doesn't understand that in that
yeah,
situation. But she can control herself in a way not to listen to you.
yeah.
But then she chooses you fucking misogynistic piece of shit. You cannot control me. Aaron, I can't since you're already kind of disputing
Yeah,
it.
kind of like you already want not to listen to me. So
Yeah,
what's the point? You will not be controlled by me. And
that's true. Like you're controlling yourself already, but you're turning it around the way
yeah,
you are control. You're not control.
yeah.
Like
And I'm gonna be honest with you. If in a relationship there is like controlling one another, that's not a good relationship.
yeah, and the only way like you can really control, I think, like it comes in physically
Yeah,
abusive relationship where there is literal power struggle in how do you say like power dynamics where
yeah,
man is saying I will beat you up if you don't
yeah,
do this.
yeah,
I think that's the only way men think they can control,
yeah,
and that's like, of course, not
yeah.
the way to go, but some people try to do that.
And the sex thing.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, I will not sleep with you.
Oh my, yes,
Listen up. So we have jumped a little bit places to places, but what I'm trying to say is that when I talked with this woman who argued that all men should learn how to treat a woman, and I said to her that it's more realistic that you will learn how to defend yourself,
mm,
you learn how to be safe, and you learn how to be wise about decisions that you make.
mm,
She at that moment she didn't like it. She actually didn't like it,
yeah,
but the problem was that if she opened her mouth, she didn't have anything to say to me
yeah,
because she knew in every possible scenario that we talked,
yeah,
I was right.
yeah,
And the worst part is afterwards, it took some time for her to actually accept what I said.
yeah,
and this is not from a place where I hate her. I don't hate people in that sense,
Yeah.
because I always try to understand why people do it, and usually the good guys, the bad guys, the good girls, the bad girls usually has the same type of
Mm.
traumatic experience
Mm.
at some point in life.
Yeah.
The same thing as for superheroes and villains.
Yeah.
The heroes and villains, they have exact same traumatic experience. They lose somebody very close to them. They get very bamboozled by something. They
Mm.
get pushed, they get punished, they something happens to them where it creates such a massive trauma to them. And then it comes a point where they choose where do they put that trauma,
Mm.
right? Heroes, for example, the great example of this is Spider-Man.
Mm.
He lost his uncle,
Mm.
Uncle Ben.
Yes.
What would, and he's student, he's broke. What would make him, why he would want to be a good guy?
Mm.
He doesn't have a life in order. Why he want to be a good guy? Well, because he chose that path.
Yeah.
The same thing we can say, for example, who? Villain.
Green Goblin.
Well, Green Goblin, he had, well, for example, him.
Yeah.
He had a sixth son, and, well, it depends what timeline you took, but he had a sixth son. His wife died, and he lost his company.
Mm. Pretty much. Yeah.
Like, traumatic experience, but then he chose to go vigilante, a villain. And he believed that we talked about,
Mm.
that he actually believed that nobody would appreciate a hero. Spider-Man believed that if you are a hero, you will be appreciated. Maybe not in that way,
Mm.
but you will be appreciated. And that, for example, is a great way of looking at it as if you are a bad guy, or if you're a bad guy, or if you're a good guy, there's not a lot of differences.
Mm. Yeah. Actually, I was just thinking like how there is that a juxtapositioning there, like good and bad.
Mm,
You cannot say me that because women have right. You go to ultimate as do the lines of the spectrum, right?
yeah,
And there's that ultimatum that usually things are not so black or white. Like even Spider-Man in the first movie,
yeah,
there was a moment after Uncle Ben died.
yeah,
Do you remember, like, if you had seen a movie, you know what
yeah,
happened next? Pretty much,
yeah,
the Spider-Man crushed that burglar's bones or
yeah,
whatever they did.
yeah, the
So there
burglar,
was a
yeah,
darkness in him, and
yeah,
that's actually what I actually was reading about just a few moments before we got this session
mm,
about which is Carl Jung, psychologist, called it
yeah,
the
he's good.
shadow.
He's
He,
good.
yes, the shadow is basically it's not something like oh my god, so the shadow is basically all the things that we deny from us, and because there is some shame and guilt to the conditioning or programming of our society. That's why we think it's evil, it's horrible to have those kind of things, but we protect it by fighting against the evil
Mm,
and that kind of bullshit. But
yeah,
in the end, we are animals by instinct,
yeah,
and we just because we have been living in a modern society for so long, we have gotten accustomed that we are so disgusted by all the things that most animals don't even think about, like
yeah.
you know
Killing someone?
yeah, like okay, like let's take this is gonna be a bit weird example, but
Okay, let's see.
we are the only animals that really care about where we shit.
True.
Oh my, like we are
True.
so excited to pick up dog shit. We don't even think about that's the most natural thing to do for dogs to shit in the nature. That's like a natural thing. But oh, that smells bad. What? That is a
Facts.
natural thing.
Facts.
But we
And
are so interested in seeming non-human that we are so excited that oh, there's shit. Let me pick it up. So that's why,
facts.
in a way, so it doesn't really make sense for us to push that away because that's actually where when we are okay being with the shadow sides of ourselves. Like, for example, you might be that kind of person who is very friendly guy,
Mm,
but deep inside there is that side of you that isn't so nice.
mm,
But if you are able to live with that and you combine that in a way, you're not gonna be doormat.
yeah.
That's one example.
Yeah,
For, like for nice guy syndrome, where you basically, well, to put simply, there's a lot of fears that are gonna restrict your persona.
yeah,
Let's put it simply like that. There's a lot of things that you're repressing because shame, guilt, or whatever experience that you have.
yeah,
But pretty
yeah,
much,
yeah. You're absolutely right about this. And glad that you said that we are the only animal who thinks where to shit.
yeah,
Because the fact is that no animal, everybody who has a dog or a cat knows this, that they don't actually care. They will shit on your couch, they will shit on your
there is.
table. If you keep it long enough, they will start to do those things, and you will like, oh, what happened? Well, they
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah. Like, think like if you come home late, they don't care. They will just shit on the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah, they was like, okay, you didn't come here. See, now you can see the result of that.
Yeah.
You better take me enough, bitch.
But
Anyways,
what
but
the what is the fact?
yeah,
The fact is that what you talk about, that shadow side.
the shadow side, yeah.
If you want to be a good guy, if you want to be something, you cannot become that if you haven't experienced the bad side of it.
Mm,
Now, what do I say about this? You cannot have darkness without light. You cannot have rainbow without rain.
mm,
And you cannot have good without bad.
mm,
Simple as that. Now, where is the problem with the world that we are living? Is that every news article, every time you open a TV, every single time you read something, it's somehow towards the negative,
mm,
towards the bad. And that is one of the reasons why I have every time I open my phone and I saw a news, I was like, man, what the bullshit is this?
mm,
So I blocked it. I blocked the news. Don't give me the goddamn news. I don't want to listen to them.
mm,
Oh, it's great information. Yeah, I get information from someplace else's, not news. That's the first thing. The second thing, why news always has to be negative? Maybe for my whole life, maybe 3 times, 5 times, I have heard something great in news.
yeah, yeah.
Something great. And listen, I'm gonna give you guys a challenge. If you are to news, if you like to read news or listen to news, or people who broadcast what happened, try to find good things and how they are presented. I want to see
Mm,
that well. Try to find those things and try to find how they are represented. Because when the negative is represented, it's like a big, massive thing. Oh my God,
mm,
did you see what happened?
mm,
But then when something good happens, well, it happened like this and all that.
mm. I think like ultimately what is happening, first off, they are playing, well, obviously they are playing with emotions, but they are playing with people's lack of self-esteem, how much they lack understanding, and they're using that for advantage to get a reaction out of people.
Yeah.
That's one thing happening. And there was another thing I was thinking, I lost it.
Well,
Anyway,
find it.
eventually I will.
But yeah,
Amazing joke, amazing joke.
but
Yeah, but
well,
yeah. So I
yeah,
was
tell me.
about to say, like, just say it already. Maybe I did, but like, ultimately, like, if we get back to the conviction bias, which we were talking about,
Yeah.
ultimately in the beginning, like, I think like the thing that happens that first off, there's a lot of lacking emotional skills,
Mm.
lack of understanding. Okay, if I go this way with my emotions, and there's that hesitance. Am I able to handle it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one
yeah,
thing. And the second thing is because that tells already that you're not reflective. You're not reflective enough to understand. Hey, emotions are just emotions. Emotions are ultimately your friend.
yeah.
They're not there to try to hurt you.
Do you know where the word emotion comes from?
Mm,
Where how did it
mm,
come together? Energy in motion.
mm. Yeah, I actually have heard.
Emotion.
Yeah, emotion, and that's actually emotion is there for us to actually. The better you are connected to your emotions, the better your cognitive abilities are even.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. Like I've even read about this for my thesis that it has drastic improvements on your work performance when you have good emotional skills.
Facts.
It's like there's the notion that emotions don't belong to workplace. Well, yeah, that's true. Like in a way, drama doesn't belong in workplace. That's true. Yeah, but and another thing is like saying that. if I let out emotions, all the emotions come out. But that's the thing. They too come out if you have repressed them. That's the thing. Like if you have been repressing them, which is the shadow side,
Mm.
right? Then they will come out because that's the sign that you have been repressing for so long, and now they come out. Do you remember the episode from Friends? Rachel had the Bruce Willis. Was it Bruce Willis
Yeah, I
as a
remember.
boyfriend? And
Yeah,
she would ask some questions. Like, why doesn't he open up? Like all those kind of things. And
yeah,
eventually, Bruce Willis opens up. But
yeah,
when he opens up, he becomes this crybaby.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
That's a
remember.
really great example. Like
I
I think
remember.
first of like people, I think they think, oh, women,
Well,
men
don't
don't,
do it.
yeah, don't do it. But
Don't do it like that.
that's the thing. Like the reason why he started crying eventually, in the end, was because he had been repressing those emotions, not because emotions are bad for men. You know.
Actually,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
this is what I believe.
Yeah.
They try to make men weak.
Mm.
Bruce Willis is die-hard guy.
Yeah.
And then he went to Friends, and then they tried to make him a bitch.
Mm. They
He's
did.
a die. He's die hard. He gets his shit done.
That's so
Man,
true.
listen, these series and movies that are now, they are not good example of manhood. They are not good example of masculinity.
Mm.
True. What is a true masculinity? Masculinity. I actually glad that you said this because I have repressed emotions myself right now.
No, go ahead. Open up and
I will open myself up right now.
yes, express yourself.
I will express
Express yourself.
the last 40 years of movie industry, last 40 years of cinema industry, there is not one guy that I would say that you would look at it and would say, this is the man to take example of
Mhm.
it.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
No,
Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
no, I have not seen a Lord
Then
of
you
the
have to
Rings.
watch it. Then you can say.
But what I'm saying that to actually a great role model, maybe Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, that also
Maybe yeah, maybe he is.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember that movie
but
that well, but yeah.
what I'm saying is that most of the movies that are depicting right now are depicting in a way where a guy somehow is crying over a woman. A guy is just a regular schmegular guy who just goes to work, comes back, and says whatever the woman
Mm,
does. And he comes, for example, Homer Simpson, great example. Family Guy, great example. Al Bundy, for example, the great thing about him was that Al Bundy was a G. The problem with him that he didn't showcase ever that he is actually um, trying his best and excellent
mm,
of a man. What I'm trying to say is not an example of a man to look and say, this is a man that I want my son, for example, to look after.
mm,
Movie cinemas, TV series, not one.
mm.
Not single one. I cannot say maybe cartoons, but cartoons are cartoons.
Cartoons and cartoon.
Like even cartoons, maybe Batman, for example, is a good example.
Mm.
Like he tries his very best to be an excellent man.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting about Batman?
What is it?
The interesting part is that that's I think the only superhero I know which actually kind of reveals his a bit grimmer side.
Yeah.
When you think about superheroes, always
Or
like the
usually like,
shining,
yeah,
all this
I'm
shining
better
armor.
than
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. All that holier than thou energy, or like Flash, or Green Lantern, or all those heroes. But actually, another one, if you have seen Arrow,
yeah, I know.
that's the second one. That's why I like the first season because it was very good prediction. I like kind of like setting where he wasn't I like how do you say it? Like he was alone on the island
Yeah,
for years and then he returned. He just wasn't like, I will save everybody. He
yeah,
was actually kind of trained to be assassin
yeah, yeah, yeah,
eventually. And like I was, that's why I liked that first season because it was so different
yeah,
from what actually is shown by usually like superhero. I will save from you are so evil.
yeah,
I will save your life. Come on, that's like too cliche. But now there's this guy who is coming there and doesn't bullshit and just kills you. Okay,
yeah,
that's why I liked it. But that's like um coming back to now since I was reminded of like what I was about to say earlier about the negativity.
Yeah.
Uh, I think like there's actually a pre notion there happening. I actually was talking with my one of my close people about this, how there's a person in my life who's kind of all time negative,
Mm,
and we were just reflecting, okay, where is it coming from?
yeah.
And eventually, I have observed that people who think negatively, well, this is actually just a cliche, even
Mm,
that negative way of viewing is actually the realistic way. It's a pre-assumption. But
yeah.
how can
Yeah.
it be?
In their life.
Yeah, in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I'm not saying that is true, but
Yeah.
that's how some people think. If you think positively, that's somehow like that's just not the right way to view it.
Yeah. And understand that negativity and positivity, they are just a way of you looking at things.
Mm,
Bad things are going to happen either way. But are you that, I would say, naive or arrogant
mm,
that you would go and say, well, bad things going to happen anyway, so I will not stay positive? Why you want to do that? Well, why don't you want to win in life?
mm,
You cannot, if you stay negative, you cannot win life. Easy, except if you sell yourself to the devil, but
yeah.
that's a different story then.
That's a different story. That is
That's a
a
different story.
totally different story.
But what I'm talking about, if you have just a normal life or you want to have a better life that you have right now, you cannot, there is no way that you just negatively you are in this loophole and then you are saying that I want a better life, but this sucks and this sucks and this sucks.
Mm,
Try for once, be thankful for that you're having the health first of all.
mm.
If you can complain, then you have a good health.
Yeah, like for my culture, Finnish culture, we make an art out of complaining. I have one example. I was a few days ago in a lunch cafeteria. I was just minding my own business, just eating, blah blah blah, and then I just overheard a man joking to woman like, again this kind of shit." You know, that's usual kind of like a rerun of that same story. Oh, we always eat the same shit. Blah, 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 blah. I just stopped and think about like some people won't even have the chance to eat. Like I know the people hear this about all the time, but that's why it's very easy to take that for granted. That some people are fighting for their lives to get that amount of food or anything any near to that quality of food. I'm not saying that Finnish people have the most high quality food. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant in this situation. That what matters really now is that you have that food.
Yes,
So why do you bitch about having food?
that is insane. And
Yeah,
then I have asked this, even you have asked this,
yeah,
that why in the Finnish culture, like, don't get me wrong, there are other cultures that do the same thing.
yeah,
But in Finnish culture, there's something. It's a different thing.
mm,
It's not the same way of
yeah,
complaining.
yeah.
And first thing first, complaining the worst. That is the worst place to start off the conversation
Oh,
or to have an interaction with somebody. Complaint, and you will get nowhere. Maybe with the losers like yourself, but then
yeah,
you deserve it.
you're not for this podcast then.
You deserve it if you
Yeah,
complain.
go away.
But in Finland, because people are not taught, and most of the people that I have met don't have a good family, like good family.
Mm,
They don't have a good interaction with the family. And when they don't have a good interaction with the family, it because everything starts small. Trust me, everything starts small. What I'm saying is the values of a family in Finland are not so driven by the way of living. What I'm trying to say is that, for example, in Finnish families, usually the morals and beliefs and what you can do and what you cannot do, they are not strict.
mm,
The values are not in a way in constructed in a way where it pushes you to be better.
mm,
Usually it is like do what you want.
mm.
What I have seen. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's more of like get what you can and settle for it. To me,
Yeah,
that's a
maybe
narrative.
maybe it's that.
To me, it always comes okay. Well, you can go after that, but don't be too eager to go after that because you might get hurt, and maybe people will judge you. Oh my
Yeah,
god! Oh my
and
god!
in Finland, because it's that, and then the history full of wars and people don't hang around with each other. And Finland, the reason why people came here is because it was a nice, quiet place.
And the happiest country in the world.
I have a different opinion about that, but
Well, doesn't mean shit.
well, we look at it as why Finnish Finnish people complain. Well, they complain because they don't know how to interact with each other way.
Mm.
They don't know how to have a conversation, or to start, I would say better, a conversation where they are having a genuine conversation with another one.
Mm.
The genuine is that complaint. Oh, this is bad. If and we can go back to our original question. If you ask them why, can they give you an answer?
No, that's what everybody does. That's just the thing I do. I think that's one option they would say. Well, I don't know. And
They
again,
don't know.
they
They
don't know.
believe in that, but
Yeah.
they don't know why are they are even
Yes.
saying it.
Mm.
And the worst part, that complaint will never lead you to any good.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I have, even myself, that's why I don't have, for example, a lot of Finnish friends. Because not because they are bad human beings, but because when they start to complain in a way where it's not genuine,
Mm.
like they are not concerned about something actually. Oh, this is just what?
Mm.
Especially if you're a guy. If you're a girl, I understand there's emotions. Go ahead. I'm a man. I can take it. But if you are another man, let's say you, and you start to complain to me,
Mm.
oh, this mic is purple.
Why is it purple?
This mouse
Why
is
isn't it
purple.
red?
This
Why
mouse is
isn't it
purple.
blue?
I wanted something else. I would look at you, bro. What? You're a man.
You have a laptop, man.
You
Man,
you.
majority of people in like other countries, third world countries, are dreaming about having laptop and then having the mic, and then you're complaining about the color of your fucking mic. Get the
Mouse.
fuck.
But I say that as a man, this is the true essence, because we uh explain it to you that in movies there is no role model for masculine men. Masculinity, the true essence of masculinity, is not feeling like it but doing it anyway.
Mm.
That is the true
Mm.
masculinity. Maybe you can laugh about it, you can be joyous about it, you can be stone faced about it.
Mm.
But masculinity is that you feel like it, that you feel like you don't want to do it. You feel like you don't want to accomplish it. You feel like you don't want to work, but you still wake up and you still do the
Mm.
job.
Mm.
This is the true masculine essence, I
Yeah.
would say. And what is the example of this, like concrete example? Police, for example.
Mm.
Who says in a Thursday night, I want to die? Who says in a, if you have a life where you are pushing yourself forward and you're doing well, who wakes up and says, you know what, I want to die?
Mm.
Policemen do that.
Mm. Yeah, so
They,
when they don't have depression or something like that, nobody is gonna most likely say, "Ah, today is a great day for me to die."
there was a few years back a shootout in one of the schools. I
Mm.
don't know if you remember it.
Maybe
The guy, he was a big dude, gym goer, who pulled a sword, and
here in Finland.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It
in
was. Remember it was 2019.
yeah, something like a
Yeah,
few years back.
many years back. Yeah.
It was the situation. He is in a great example of a man who felt like something doing and then did it.
Mm. Yeah.
He felt it like, I have to do this, and then he actually went and fucking shot and killed someone, stabbed them, but
Yeah. With the sword.
with the sword, stabbed them. She was 14 years old.
Mm.
She was young girl. He stabbed her with a knife. My bad, sword. It's actually a sword, and he shot. And then police. I had I even had a conversation with that policeman because the kid whom I was giving practice, I was before I was a coach, and at that time, the kid's father was the policeman who took down the guy who sword played a little bit
Mhm,
with
mhm,
with his sword,
mm,
and the crazy thing was that he said that he didn't think about death or life at that moment. He was just concerned that everything should be just controlled
mm.
when he was in that situation.
Yeah.
And I felt him because at those moments, if you're actually prepared, for example, as a policeman,
Mm,
I'm gonna be honest. Did he feel like he wants to go there and wrestle
mm.
with that guy?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't feel like it, but
Yeah.
he has to do it
Yeah.
because his duty, and that's the essence of masculinity.
Mm,
That other spectrum was that soy boy shit that people do. That he felt like he has to kill someone for love or I don't
tension.
tension or
Power even.
I don't know what was the reason why because everybody said that he was very calm person. Like when people talked with him, he
Yeah.
wasn't weird.
Yeah.
He wasn't like doing anything bad or
Mm,
nobody would suspect from him
mm,
in a way where
yeah. And I think like I just wanted to, if I may interrupt in between, like in taking it back to the shadow side. Like we were talking about, he was so calm, he was so friendly, he was everyone is saying that. But
yeah,
if it's like to me that sounds like to the point there he was overcompensating and hiding the real nature of himself. And now he had emotional problems, reflection problems, not knowing himself well, feeling shit about himself, and now something, you know, he just cop went over what how do you say it? Like he just lost it
yeah, lost it.
and basically went there. That was his shadow doing the talking.
Yeah,
That was his shadow basically saying, I have had enough.
yeah.
And then he killed someone.
And Carl Jung uses shadow.
Yeah.
I have heard this already before in David Data book.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that the
Yeah.
superior,
Yeah. The way of the
the
superior
way
man.
a superior man. He talks about the dark side of man
Mm,
and the dark side of masculinity,
yeah.
and that is actually true.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And that's actually good that you bring it out. It's not the bad. That's just projection of that fear over your dark side.
Yeah,
It's bad. We have to be good. We have to, you know, be like a shining armor hero. Blah blah blah. That's just
yeah,
this narrative of any Hollywood movie created for us, so that we
yeah.
are kept away from that truth that we are not so good as we think we are.
No
I think that all that good that superhero stories are just ways to distract ourselves from the fact that we are not so good after all.
facts, and understand that this is this is a way of making men not be men,
Mm,
and it will still continue, especially in cartoons, for example. I I just brought up Batman. Batman, especially the cartoon version,
mm,
the early cartoon version in 2000s. He was an example of a man. Excellence as example of an excellent man.
mm,
Not only he always was in control of his emotions. I would say 99% of his time he was in control of his
mm,
emotions. If something happened, if something bad happened, something good happened, he was still in control
mm,
and he still got his things done.
mm. But now here's the question. You have seen Batman Dark Knight Rises. Second movie, there is Heath Ledger as Joker.
Yes,
In that movie, Batman is being Batman. I'm Batman, you know, that kind of, he's already being Batman. And now Joker breaks him. How do you explain that?
I explained that that is not the cartoon.
Well,
That's that
yeah,
new
yeah,
age
yeah,
bullshit.
but still, like he's already being kind of like, okay, okay, I'm not the good guy, I'm not the bad guy, I'm somewhere in between. He's already
Mhm.
that kind of like he's that kind of character already.
In that movie, yes, but I'm talking about the
Yeah,
cartoon
yeah,
version.
yeah,
And
yeah.
in the cartoon version, it brings out the how an excellent man should have. But
Mm,
I acknowledge that there is a point where even Batman says to Joker, because Joker, he knows who is Batman. but he doesn't care. He just cares that he has fun. And that fun part of him is that makes Batman to break his code, that creed that he has, that values that he brings in every situation. If a Joker can make him break, he wins. That's over for him.
Mm.
So that's why the Joker does everything. He kills people, he's merciless, he does everything to break Batman.
Mm.
And that is the where the values are
Mm.
pushed.
Mm.
And there is a moment, I remember even in cartoon, there is a moment where even Batman says to him that, hey, we cannot do this anymore. We cannot do this forever. I don't know what happened in your life that puts you in this tailspin, but I can help you. And then even a Joker accepts it like, you're right, but I'm too far now. I cannot go back.
Mm. Mm.
And even in that moment, for example, showcase that even when the Batman had that feeling, he was still doing his duty. He was still doing his job. That's why I'm saying cartoon, because movies, like I said before, they are trying to push that notion. They are
Mm.
trying to push that, I would say, the message where if a guy doesn't feel like it, he doesn't need to do it.
And now that I think about it, it kind of pushes on if you are on the line between good and bad, that's not good.
No.
It's kind of the thing they're telling you that it's not okay that if you are not either good or bad.
Yeah.
You have to choose, pick a side, just like in
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah. It's just like in politics. In a cartoon, you can see that Batman never admits that he's a superhero.
Yeah.
He never says that. He never says that I am a hero. He says that I'm a vigilante. I'm a guy who is keeping these things around
Mm.
clear.
Yeah.
And he does things that are not heroish. He does things that are not good in a
Mm.
sense. Like a great example, and that I think this is why people love Batman so much.
Mm.
He had there was a scene where the Justice League, the Superman and Flash and Green Lantern and these guys were attacked so strategically in a way where it attacked their weakest point.
Mm.
And then Batman, afterwards, Batman knew what was happening. He went in front of them and said, there was my strategies, my ideas. Somebody stole them, and that is my problem. And he took responsibility, full responsibility, and he told them that those are contingency plans, that if someone of you goes rogue or becomes a bad person, I have a plan to stop you. And then those guys, those good guys, were mad at him that, no, how could you do it? And he looked at them like, what if that happens? What
Yeah.
if you become bad person? What if you decide that at this particular moment, I don't want to be helping somebody. I
Yeah.
want to destroy somebody.
Mm.
Superman, for example, what's going to stop him? The kryptonite is the only thing that can
Mm.
stop. And understand that this is not. We are not talking about just cartoons. Like,
But all of a sudden we start talking about superheroes, man. Now imagine seeing someone like, okay, so they're talking about psychology. All of a sudden, no, wait, what? They're talking about Batman? What? This is not
wait,
the
what?
Opinion Outlaws I stand up for. Fuck this.
But
Yeah, but we're now essentially talking about dynamics happening
yeah,
behind the curtains.
behind the curtains. And even in that predicament where Batman was accused that how could you betray their trust, he said that these are contingency plans.
Yeah,
These are plans that if something happens, I will implement them.
yeah,
And he said to them that, and somebody said to him that nobody would do it to you. He said that then you're fools.
mm-hmm.
Because what about if I went broke?
Yeah.
Or
That
somebody,
would be deep shit.
yeah, but what about, he said even this, what about if somebody succumbs to mind control? It happens. In that cartoon, it can happen. In the real life, maybe it can happen. I don't
Mm.
know. But in the cartoons, it can happen. Somebody can control your mind where you start to do things that you is not yours.
Yeah,
Like those are the things that make Batman, for example, great as a character.
yeah,
Like, it's not good or
yeah.
bad. He's doing the things that are
Yeah,
necessary.
he doesn't give a shit what you think about him, so that's why I think he's very. You just got to admire him for that.
Yeah.
You got some balls that not that many other people have balls to do.
Yeah.
Like think like all those they are already acting like holding. Oh, you are so evil for doing that. What? He's not even trying to pretend that he's good, holier than thou. He's just saying, yeah. I'm imperfect. I am making mistakes. Yeah, I'm not actually
Yeah,
mistakes, but
he
I
made
am
it.
doing some things that are questionable.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit because I know this is gonna help us to protect ourselves.
yes, sir. And he even admitted that it was a mistake to those plans get stolen.
Yeah, that's a different thing. But mistake,
He admitted, but yeah, that wasn't a
yeah,
mistake. He told that this is not a mistake. I would do the same thing for every one of you
mm,
again.
yeah, and that I think that's in the way like you could use the word tough love in the end.
Yeah,
I'm doing this in order to protect ourselves so that we won't get in deep shit.
yes. And maybe the biggest reason why people also respect Batman so much is that he doesn't actually have superpowers.
Mm,
He has just worked himself
yeah,
tirelessly all the time
yeah.
to know every language, to know every martial art,
Ooh,
to know science, to know physics, to know
psychology.
chemistry, psychology, to know engineering, for example,
Mm,
meditation. He has trained himself to the absolute best that he can be. You get what I'm saying? Like
mm,
that's why I'm saying that he's an excellent example of a man and true masculinity.
mm, yeah.
Being afraid, he is afraid. Don't get me wrong. That's why he wears a bat.
Mm,
He is afraid of bats. That's why he's
mm,
wearing bats.
yeah. Man.
Like you get what I'm saying? Like these, for example. That's why I took an example. But then you watch for somebody like Homer Simpson. It's funny, it's entertaining,
Yeah.
but it's not the kind of man that you want actually to take
In
example of.
so many ways.
Oh,
In so many
I'm
ways.
gonna be honest now.
Yeah. Oh my.
But yeah, these are the things that we can talk about for
Oh
hours
my.
and hours and
Oh my.
hours.
This is a really interesting term, but
Yeah,
next episode we're going to talk about all dynamics of Batman. I can just see it already coming. But this is actually really great. Yeah. This. Yeah.
this is the great
Oh my. Mm,
great way of looking at it. Like,
mm,
yeah, we can take examples on the way, but this is maybe the best way because people can, I would say, easily access.
mm,
Who, if you haven't access for this that you are watching us, you have an access for looking this content that I talked about,
mm,
this content that Puru talked about. You can watch it,
mm.
and and that uh, that is when it comes to like superhero movies. Have you seen, for example, Spider-Man? He's cuck for Mary Jane.
Mm.
Superman is cuck for what is the bitch's name?
I don't even know. I never liked superhero that much.
There you go.
Triggered.
Yeah, yeah. What was
I don't.
I don't even remember, but I remember that Batman stole his girl. Yeah, Batman was like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing, girl?
How you doing?
I have $2 billion on the bank, and I have good hygiene. What's up? I'm good. I'm good."
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, but it's really great. But if you're now taking it back a bit to our
Where, bro?
original topic,
Where, bro?
we went a bit sideways. But let's take back again the conviction bias and talk
Yes.
about like, okay, so there is that situation you were having gospel about your notions. Oh, I need to push it on you. So to summarize, what is it about?
It is about actually good that you said that
Mm,
because you need in your life for some things you need conviction,
yeah.
strong conviction.
Mm,
If you watch a fighter named Scottish Dragon, I don't remember his his actual name. He was a fighter, a boxer. He is 40 something and oh, he has won 47 fights, 48 fights, something like that.
mm,
True badass.
mm,
If you watch his interviews, if you watch his fights, if you watch him do his what he does, he has that conviction
mm.
that I'm the best and there is no human on earth who can beat me.
Or Muhammad Ali.
Or Muhammad Ali,
Yeah,
he has.
yeah.
Mike Tyson after prison, for example, look at
Mm,
his eyes. Floyd Mayweather, he like I understand that, for example, Floyd Mayweather is not the most likable guy,
mm,
but you have to get an example of that conviction
mm,
that he has worked himself to the bone
mm,
to a point where he believes so much in himself that when he steps inside the ring, there is no one better than him.
yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. That is what made him undefeated.
Yeah.
That is the actually number one reason what made him undefeated because
Mm,
we can name a bunch of fighters who are physically stronger than him, faster than him, smarter than him,
mhm,
technically better than him. Like we can name so many boxers.
mm,
But what he had all those things. I'm not taking that away. He's the best boxer that we have ever had. But the reason why is because he had so strong conviction in himself that there is no one better, and he actually proved it to himself.
mm. Yeah, and so in a sense, you are saying that if you're gonna apply a conviction bias, you better have some merits to show you
Yes,
really know what you're talking about.
of course. You
It's
cannot just say that.
yeah, yeah, because only thing what is left after you don't know, you have no idea what you're talking about,
Yeah,
is you're just throwing puking out your emotions. Blah,
yeah,
it's just like, oh, I this must be the right thing, blah, 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 blah. And then if you end up in this embarrassing situation when someone asks you, okay, what do you mean by that?
yeah.
I just mean what I mean. You shut the fuck
Okay,
up.
okay, bro.
You know, and that's where it comes from. But I guess there is a shame, in essence, to the fact that they haven't thought it through, and
Yeah,
now they are like, oh fuck.
yeah, like yeah, it's maybe that,
Also,
but
there's so many things
there
that
are
can
so many
happen.
things. Yeah, but for example that I took the conviction for something to have also there is a because our bodies, especially our minds, are very wise with this. That if you prove it to yourself that you actually believe that, uh, I'm gonna do it like this: have a huge ego and then justify it.
Mm, yeah.
Simple. If you say, I'm the best engineer in this, prove it.
Mm,
Prove it that you're the best.
yes.
And then after you prove it, then you can say that I have a massive, huge ego and nobody can touch me.
And huge dick.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The Big Johnson.
Yeah, and that's we have been talking about arrogance earlier in the podcast, and that's I get it, it comes in essence that when you are if you use conviction bias without any merits, that's just arrogance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unlike ignorant arrogance,
Ignorant arrogance. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not like an actual arrogance in a good way.
yeah,
In a good way, arrogance is pride. All
yeah.
right. If you are proud about who you are, then what you said that you have justified that ego that you have,
Mm,
then yeah, go ahead. But to summarize this, if the best way, this is the actually what touches this topic in the core, like this
mm,
is the core of it.
mm,
The best way that people are controlled when they don't know they are controlled. You get what I'm saying?
mm.
Like the moment that you understand that you are controlled is the moment you get free.
You get juice.
Yes. But until you are not aware that you are controlled, then you will have like that. Like, for example, you have that gospel type of belief that this is right and
Mm,
there is no way else. And you don't question it.
mm,
You're controlled.
mm.
Somebody is controlled. Somebody has put that
Yeah,
idea in your head
yeah,
because it's not possible that you believe something so strongly and then you don't have any justification for it
yeah,
or any proof of it,
yeah,
and you believe in that so strongly, so somebody somewhere at some point in your life has put that idea and said this is right.
yeah. Otherwise, you suck.
Otherwise you suck.
Yeah.
And I even will put this on notice, and then I'm gonna ask you the final thoughts,
Yeah.
and then I think we can wrap this up
Oh,
because
for you. Yeah.
it's been a good podcast, I would
It's
say.
been incredible. Incredible.
Incredible. There was oh, hold on, hold
Goodbye.
on.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Um, there was a study done recently, and Jordan Peterson actually talked about
Mm,
this, where people's ability to recognize the meaning of the words was linked to straight to that how much they are involved with the movement. So the dumber you are, the more likely are you to head in these movements.
Mm,
Black Lives Matter, feminism, LGBTQ. Like, you start to believe in them more, that gospel conviction, if you are dumber.
mm.
And
What kind of dumber? Are we talking about like intellectual intelligence or emotional intelligence?
both, especially emotional, but
Yeah.
both were they were tested. This was I don't know which study it was, but I remember Jordan Peterson talked about this study that it was done where they tested how much they are involved with the movement and how wise are they as a human being.
Mm,
And if we go back in history a little bit, I have I know, for example, in Russia, when Joseph Stalin was a dictator,
mm,
and afterwards, when he died, all the beans spread out.
mm,
When beans spread out, people killed themselves because they couldn't imagine that how was all his life a lie.
mm,
You get that they were being dumbed down by the sheer fact that communism portrayed that you have to work just for the government and that's it. And they have been dumbed down, and because they have been dumbed down, they believe that that's the only conviction and that's it. And when the being spelled out after Joseph Stalin died, the right hand man of Joseph Stalin came out and said and told everybody that what was the case. Few of them killed themselves
mm.
because think about the realization that all your life has been just a illusion.
Yeah, you've been just a puppet.
You've been just a puppet for this huge machine, which top people have just played games with
Mm,
it. So these are the things that you'll be. It's a good thing that you would be considering, I would say.
yeah.
But what do you say? These were my last thoughts.
Oh man, they're going to
Good.
talk about the next 30 minutes or so. So let's try to keep it. I will just now revert it down to a few questions so that we get something very essential about out of this all these talks about Batman and blah blah. You know. So conviction bias is a good thing when it's taken the right direction, when it's used in the right way. It's like a tool you use in a certain way to get certain goals to achieve. So now, first, I would say that you need to have emotional awareness. You need to know what you're talking about when you're talking about whatever. So that requires emotional skills, reflection skills, self knowledge about yourself, what you're talking about, and that's therefore you need to understand what are the patterns that have happened past, so that you know how you got to this present moment, so that you can predict the future. I think that's the thing that you need to really have in order to kind of understand, get to like through the conviction bias, so that you can use it as a useful tool instead of like a reflection of your lack of understanding about yourself. That was a very hard way. Okay, I'll take it again. So basically, when you are having conviction bias, it can be either a tool or it can represent that you don't know yourself.
Yes.
So which one
No,
do you pick?
that was actually a good good summary, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, so that's why now my question or our question for you is, which one do you pick? Do you want to use it as a tool, or do you want to use it or have it? And like, do you want conviction bias to represent how much little you know about yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
simple as that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this was our last episode. We
Yes.
went from the question, and that question opened up
Oh
the
man.
whole new things about how to look at things and how to perceive things. I would say this may be one of the best
Oh,
episodes that we have done.
I would go as far as saying this is the best episode we have had.
Ooh, okay,
I think so.
interesting take.
I think. Do
But
you disagree?
this was the last episode of this season, and I would say that it's been a pretty good ride.
Yeah, it's been a good ride. Good ride.
Now the next season will start. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone who has been with us so far.
Thank you.
We would highly recommend that you subscribe, you comment, you like, or you give us feedback. You give us
Mm.
your thoughts. You give out what should we do better, what should we remove, and that's how we go in life.
Feel free to ask any questions, and we will catch up on the next episode.
Yes.
Yeah, see you.